this is one of the brightest talents in European football, and credit to him for making that jump away from City. And yeah, he's thriving because now he's a full England international, and people are saying he is definitely one of the best in the league.
And he's thriving, Mario, in an environment that hasn't necessarily encouraged it over the last year. When you take a look at the money he spent on Mudryk, for example, who just hasn't lived up to expectations. Cole Palmer has stepped up and says, I will be the man for Chelsea. And what a man he has been.
I think it comes down to self-belief. Like sometimes when you make the decision, and we all know as footballers, we sometimes make a move. And I'm sure when he left in the beginning, no one can tell me that when he left City, a team that's won so much, and then you go into a team that's rebuilding, you think like, maybe I'm putting a step down. But his belief was like, I'm going to develop myself and become the player that he is today. What I like about him a lot is that a lot of players, sometimes when you watch, when they become that, comfortable in the sense of like the way they play and the way they produce the quality on the field, they sometimes get carried away. And I have with him a feeling that he holds on and wants to keep doing it. And it's not like just a one moment or a second moment, no. This guy was so focused before the end of last season, and then now he's got that focus again. And that's why, the luck doesn't talk anymore. And that's what I like. Even after he scored 4 goals, if you see the assist that he gave to Jackson, the second half was like a loop ball over the defense. The way he did it by one-touch moment, it was unbelievable. That's why them two together, I think, in the beginning we were talking about like, okay, what's going on between them two? But him playing behind Jackson gives Jackson more possibilities in the sense of going where he wants to be. But you also have to remember, having a Cole behind you, he's smart, he's intelligent, reads the game really well. And I have a feeling that he makes everybody around him play better. And that is the hardest part for a young boy, because sometimes you can be very good as a player, but can you make sure the other ones play well as well? And I think at the moment he's right there. And for him it comes down, carry on, because this is a player that every club wants one, always has a diamond. And at the moment he's the one for Chelsea.
Who would you want at Liverpool to start next season, Cole Palmer or Salah?
Oh, thanks, Dan. Wow. Well, I'm always talking about you got to look for the future of the club,
right?
And if Chelsea would like to do a swap deal,
right?
I think I'd probably do it.
Oh, Liverpool Echo. It's on the phone right now. Ditch Salah.
The guy doesn't waste anything. Everything he does is so precise.
From a coaching perspective, how much do you need to talk to him, or how much you just let him get on with it?
Oh, leave him alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave him alone.
You don't get in his head?
Yeah, don't. If it's not broke,
yes,
don't fix it.
You know who's the only person that actually does not appreciate or hasn't figured out that Cole Palmer is really good? Gareth Southgate.
The new Manchester United coach.
Yeah, could have used him quite a bit in the Euros. No, he's just sitting over there on the bench. That's good.
And Nadim, defensively, how do you stop him?
It's a good question. I think for the way that Chelsea play, they have threats whereby you can't just have a sole focus on Cole Palmer. You know that he's going to have an impact in some of his passing, some of his shooting, but he's such an intelligent player on the pitch that he'll find space anyway. You could try and find somebody that man mark him, but he'll probably just move into space and allow someone else the opportunity. So he's class. He's so good. And I think as we talk about him now, I think what's key is the fact that he just loves football. As you've probably seen with his interviews and so on, there's not much else going on in his life apart from football that he really enjoys. So you give him the ball, you put him on the pitch and he's happy. And when he's happy, you see the performances like we're seeing now. And I guess defensively, yes, you can try and make it as hard for him as possible by, being as physical as you can be, putting some of your best defenders on him. But he's a quality player. And at some point, you realise those quality players will have their moments. And right now, if Cole Palmer has a moment, there's a good chance he's going to score, he's going to assist somebody else.
What Maresca said. I said to Robert and I said to the players...
I tell you what, that's garb. And honest, seriously.
OK, I haven't read the quote yet. People might think, what's he going to say?
I've never seen this. This is the first time I've seen it.
I said to Robert and I said to the players, from now on, we're going to concede 10 more goals, like the way we conceded the second goal, because it's the way we want to play. Stevie, I believe it's the first time you're seeing this quote.
That's nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. I tell you know what's happening? It's one thing for every now and again somebody to make an error when you try to play the ball out, and it's actually on to play it out, but they make a mess of it. That's one thing. But to turn around and just say, I don't care, this is what we do, is absolute nonsense. And I'll tell you why, because there's too many coaches now are taking the game away from players. During a game, there are certain things that you need to do. But if a coach keeps saying to you, I don't care if we're 2-0 down or we're 2-0 up and there's 5 people closing you down, I want you to do a triple somersault and then flick it over the 5 of them. I mean, when you play in a game...
Stick the landing.
When you play in a game, you have to play to what the game's giving you. And if the game's giving you 5 defenders closing you down as the goalie, then guess what? You stick your toe through it. Now, that's game management.
Right.
So basically, coaches now, it looks like, because Brighton were just as bad as Chelsea,
Yes.
they're both the same. And that's why we see a ridiculous first half where it could have been 7-7. That's not top-class football. And for him to come out and say that drives me insane, because that's garbage. That's absolute garbage.
Mario, do you think he means that?
Yeah, because you know, this is what Stevie said. You know, look, sometimes coaches also try to protect their goalkeepers, and that is exactly what he's doing now. Because if you go into the goalkeeper's head and try to give him the feeling that, look, he wants to play from the back, we know that. De Serbi did the same with Verbrugge. Verbrugge, when he came there, he had also, you know, some happenings and making silly things he did. Okay, now it's a new coach at Chelsea. He's saying the same thing. Why is he saying that? Because he does not want his back line to start panicking. And he does not want his goalkeeper to change for the philosophy what he's trying to build at them. Is this right? I totally agree with Stevie said. For me, the first thing is what we used to, you know, how I grew up was, if you don't know, make sure you know where your striker is. And make sure you can find him. So the first thing you should do is look for him, because he's the one that's going to score. If it comes out that my right, you know, or my left or whatever is free, you hand him the ball. But if that is not the case, the goalkeeper, he had enough chances. Why is he taking one touch and slipping the ball in, and then it gets taken? Boom, goal. You don't want that. No. And I cannot imagine that he's not going to tell him that, or he tells his goalkeeper coach that from, hey, guys, you guys got to, you know, make sure that he works on that, because that is something I don't want. Because imagine this is the final of an FA Cup or a Champions League. You want your goalkeeper to do something like that? He's not going to say to the goalkeeper, oh, don't worry, 10 more is going to happen. No. He's going to fix it, but he does say this because he does not want panic at the back. That's why he's saying it.
Yeah, well, but there is panic in the back. And the game, there is context to it, and there is nuance to the game. You've already given up a goal by trying to play out of the back and doing some silly stuff, right? Both the goalkeepers and the center back. If you're Fofana, stop taking 1,000 touches on the ball and just swing that ball down the line, and we don't have an issue. So there is one opportunity to clear the danger. He doesn't. He decides to go and play to Roberto Sanchez. There is a second opportunity to now clear the danger, because he has enough time to just say, you know what? Context. We already gave up a goal doing silly things over here. No need to put ourselves in a bad situation. Put it over there, and we'll go and fight for the ball over there in midfield. There is context, there is nuance, and then there is a coach that is telling you, keep doing it, because giving up goals is fun. Look, the truth of the matter is that if you're a player, at some point you got to make decisions on your own. And the decisions made by both Fofana and the goalkeeper Sanchez were terrible. Terrible. Within the context of the game, were terrible decisions, and they got punished because of it.
As an experienced defender, Nedum, how would you handle this from a coach?
Well, to be honest, I kind of disagree with elements of what everybody said so far. Like, I understand where they're coming from, but I think with Maresca, what he's trying to say is the intent is to play out from the back. I think the saying that you'll concede 10 goals like that, I think that's missing the point from his side of things, because I think more importantly, it's more about the intent as opposed to the execution, because the execution is wrong. And if Sanchez is going to be a good goalkeeper long term, he has to work on the execution. But what we don't see in that video, for example, is the fact that Chelsea players would be higher up the field and they're one pass away from being able to break the lines. And that's what Maresca wants. I think to say that we're okay giving up light goals through bad passes, I think that's missing the point. But he should be saying to them, we're going to continue to try and play out from the back. I think when we talk about playing from the back, it tends to feel to me like a bit of a lopsided discussion, because we see more lowlights of when it doesn't work out. But some of the goals that we see and chances that teams have within games, they start off in positions like that, but highlights are always cut from when the ball's at the halfway line. So we never really know how they're able to have a 5v4 or a 4v3 or something like that further up the field. So I think Maresca, like, the mistake from Sanchez is rubbish. I don't think the pass is the wrong decision. I think the way he's executed it is the poor decision. And if he's going to be somebody who's going to stay in net for Chelsea with Maresca in charge, he has to improve that, or they'll find someone else that can do it. The example that I see for all those years ago at Man City when when Guardiola came in and said Joe Hart is not going to work for me. It's like, well, why would that be the case? Further down the road, you've got an Edison, and it's somebody who can play those passes, somebody who will sort of have the ability to execute with the correct intention as well. So I understand it, and those goals, they always make the case for playing out from the back look really bad. But there's a reason why more and more managers are doing it, and I think it's because some of the opportunities they can create further up the field, they come through those moments which feel quite scary. And to quote one story, one time I had it in my career. So I had Harry Redknapp as my manager at QPR, and he always used to say, like, oh, good players play. Before the game, good players play. Get the ball down, move it around, so on and so forth. And then when you start doing that, he used to get so anxious on the sideline. He'd say, get it to Bobby. Get it to Bobby Zamora, the big number 9 up front. So I'd rather have a manager that wants you to buy into a system and work harder to become better at it than one that stands on the sideline with huge anxiety, because then you don't really know what the right decision is overall, because they say one thing, but then they kind of want you to do the other.
Saying that to take the pressure off Sanchez, right? Let's just say he's saying that to take the pressure off. Now, what I hope he's doing is having a conversation with Sanchez, because the reason Sanchez messed up for the second one is because he's made a mess of the first one and he's not settled yet. Now, a good coach, because it's a great... What is a coach, by the way? Is it just some guy that can get X's and O's and put this together, and this is how we want to do it? You've got to have a feeling for the game. And there's not a question, any footballer who's made a horrendous mistake that's cost a team a goal takes time to settle down and get back to normal. And so I'm hoping that the conversation he has with Sanchez is not, OK, you can boot it, but it's, right, when you're settled down, this is what we do. Until you get settled, I'm OK with you letting it go.
Right.
That's what I hope he's saying. Because that is feeling the game. That's coaching. As much as X's and O's is coaching, that's coaching. That's looking after your goalie. Telling them that it's OK, but if you're in that situation again, I have no problem if you let it go. But obviously not for the next 18 minutes or whatever's left.
There is zero chance, by the way, that Natum is playing the ball out of the bag the way that these guys are doing it. Look, Natum is defending Maresca here, but there is zero chance in those situations, in those moments, that Natum would be playing the ball 5 yards with it along the 18-yard box. It's zero chance of that, Natum. You're putting that ball forward, and we're getting up. So don't tell me that now we want to play out of the bag when there's no need to do so.
Well, maybe, if you are correct, maybe that's why I didn't play for Chelsea or Man City. So maybe the problem is with me and not with the coaches. You see, that's the thing, Ali. That's the thing.
Okay.
Go on, Mario.
If we, like how we talk about this, right? Okay, the culture of Maresca is similar to what Pep is doing. Pep comes from a guy with Johan Cruyff. Okay, it's the same what we had at Ajax. When you're a young boy, the thing that they teach you is you're not allowed just to boot the ball away. Okay, that's why I highlighted the striker, because you have to make sure they always said to this, when you get the ball, you have three options. One is safe. The third one is an option, but the second one will be the best. Why is the second one the best? Because that gets us to the opponent's goal and makes us score. And those are the hardest thing in football. They say three options you get, and there is always one good. And don't think the safe one is going to be the best. What did he do? He felt like, hey, I'm going to have the one touch and I'm going to slide it in because he's going to turn. So I feel like when we talk about this, and I understand what you guys say, it's like the way Maresca highlights it, I know that he wants to create a certain pattern, the way they want to play, and we clearly see that it's working, because we're not talking about a coach that is not working, because look at the results that he's building. But the only thing is, like, some of the things that Sanchez did, because he had some great saves in the game, and I think we have to highlight that too. But one of the things you really have to focus on is don't always overcomplicate things, and see the moment when you get the ball. Sometimes you have to look before you get the ball, because that makes football faster. But if you always look when you get it, you always get in trouble. And that is what happened to him.
At Chelsea, I think it's fair to say, have exceeded expectations so far this season. Let's just remind you how things stand at the top of the table, because it's Liverpool who sit there at the moment, 1 point clear of Manchester City and Arsenal. Natum, 2 draws in a row for City. What's going wrong?
Oh, it's a crisis, Dan. It's a massive crisis. I don't know how they're going to recover from this.
Should have kept Carlton.
I think, obviously, the draw to what? Well, yeah, Carlton Palmer would have been great for City now, yeah, no doubt. Get some balls in the box. But yeah, it's It's not ideal. I think you can talk yourself into understanding why you could maybe draw at Newcastle, especially with a couple of key players out in Rodri for the season and De Bruyne missing that creativity. But for them, they understand the first part of the season is just trying to settle in. And then I'm sure that once all the people are in better health, they're in more of a rhythm, I think we'll see better football from them further down the road. But for now, they're still there, and that's kind of where they want to be.